You've all gotten that long email that's just tons of text and maybe some pictures, and you don't have time to read it. So you read the headline and you move on with your lives. For years at Idea Decanter, we sent out newsletters. First it was quarterly, then it was monthly. I'm Sharon Catula from Idea Decanter, and joining me today is Laura Garfield, my co-founder, and Emily McGuire from Flourish and Grit. Emily, what are we doing wrong? Should we all be ditching our newsletters?
100% yes. I talk to small business owners all the time and, bigger business owners who are sending out newsletters regularly. They are often perplexed on why they put in all this effort. They write a beautiful letter at the beginning and have all these wonderful updates about the business and all these really awesome articles. They put hours and hours of time into these newsletters and are confused on why it's not getting them anything in return. And my first response to them when they ask why is to stop sending a newsletter.
Wait. Stop sending kill the newsletter? Kill the Holy Grail?
Bury it 6 feet under. Because if you think about it, if you're putting all this content in a newsletter and somebody's scrolling through their inbox, they see your email, they click on it, and they start looking at it, that is a ton of stuff you're asking people to read. That could take them minutes, which can be a long time in the digital world, to hours. And if you think about it, on average, websites get about a minute of session time on them per user. So that means people in general are spending about a minute on any given website. Just looking at it. So if you put that in terms of email, you can probably expect most people would spend about a minute reading your newsletter. So if you have 10 links and even more articles, that is giving people a lot of decisions to make about what they want to read, and B, asking them to spend a lot of time in your email. So instead, what I recommend people do who are sending monthly or quarterly newsletters is break that content up. You don't have to send it all in one email. Pick 1 or 2 pieces of content, articles, things you're listening to, whatever, and send them weekly. Besides, if you are sending an email monthly, that is also a very long time in the digital world. And by the time the next month rolls around, you're expecting people to A, remember who your business is, and B, look forward to receiving your email and opening it. So sending on a much more, a more frequent basis regularly keeps your audience warm and interested in your content, and makes it a lot easier for them to make a choice on what they're going to read inside your email.
Now, we always tell our clients, be personal, be authentic. Can people go overboard? I have these flashbacks sometimes of those websites, maybe back 10 years ago when everyone was putting their favorite book they were reading in their Spotify play. Well, maybe Spotify wasn't around. I'm not sure, but what they were listening to. Can you just be are we getting inured to all this personalization?
That's funny. Personalization in terms of the brand putting it out there. As a marketer, I think about personalization in terms of what does a specific person in your audience want. So it totally relates to what you're saying, because a mistake I see people make is that they're hyper-focused on what they themselves as a brand is doing, as a business is doing. Here is what's happening in our audience, in our office. Here's what I'm reading. Here's what I'm listening to. Like you said, why should your audience care about what's going on in your office or what you're reading to or listening to? They care about themselves. We are inherently selfish people. I mean, I know I love talking about myself, so, but if I'm reading something and all it's talking about is that business, you're again asking me to do a lot of mental gymnastics to understand what your content has to do with me. So if you are, it doesn't hurt to send a favorite podcast you're listening to, as long as you relate it back to how it affects your audience, their interests, their concerns, their day-to-day lives. That is powerful content.
So I can hear a quiet clamor in my ear from the small business owners saying, okay, well, I was putting this effort into producing this monthly newsletter, and now you're telling me I have to do this every week. Like, how do you make time for that?
I mean, you're already putting all the effort into the monthly newsletter. Just don't spend it all in one place, right? You already have this beautiful content that you're planning and preparing. Just put a little bit in 1 week, a little bit in the next week, and a little bit in the next week. You can create all those emails at once and schedule them over the month, and bing, bang, boom, you're done. So it's not extra. I mean, it's a little bit of extra work, but not much. And it'll get you much more bang for your buck, staying relevant to your audience and keeping them warm in the inbox. They're going to start looking forward to your emails every week.
So how short are you talking? Like, how many message points can you really put into a weekly email?
Well, what I usually tell people is to focus on one goal for your email and one call to action. And a call to action is the thing you're asking people to do from your email. But making one the focus is really going to help people focus in on what it is you want them to do in your email. So for example, you might have one email for 1 week might just be purely engagement. You just want to keep your audience interested. So you might just be sharing content that they might find interesting. Or another week might be highlighting a specific service you have. So just really focusing on that main chunk of content, and then maybe having some supplementary pieces of content with it, but not being the main focus, is really going to help you plan well and organize yourself, and help your reader see the big picture and the main focus of that email, so they know exactly what you want them to do from that email.
All right, we're going to change our newsletter immediately. We hope you all do as well. Emily, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. If you would like more information about email marketing, please check out Emily's website at flourishgrit.com. And of course, you can always check out more great idea videos with the Idea Decanter team at ideadecanter.com.